Thank you. I know it's not funny to be the last speaker after a long day, and you obviously all look tired. So I will try to be brief. I will be talking about the Claiming Equal Citizenship campaign. This campaign is active in the MENA region and in some of the Gulf countries in the region. Essentially, I will try to tease out the best practices from this campaign, what were the strategies that work and the strategies that worked less. And in doing so, I'm going to try first, as an entry point, I would like to go through the whole construct and concept of citizenship, and particularly women's citizenship in the Arab region, because that is the conceptual framework of this campaign. And then I will share with you our experience with the Claiming Equal Citizenship campaign, and by analyzing some of the key lessons learned, some of the elements of success, and finally finish by linking it with the framework of CEDAW, which we're celebrating the 30th anniversary this year. Very briefly, because I think it is essential to understand what citizenship means in the Arab region and how, or in the MENA region, and how actually it is constructed, who constructs citizenship, who decides who is a citizen, who is not a citizen. And this is very much related to how identity is constructed in our region, and the link between identity and the ways in which it's influenced by patriarchy, a big component of patriarchy being, in this case, religion. So I can safely say that at least in our region, patriarchal institutions, patriarchal ways of thinking are actually the ones who decide who is a full citizen, who has full rights, and therefore who is a subordinate, an annex, an appendix citizen, and actually their right would be determined by somebody else. As a result, women exist by virtue of their relationship with men, be it father, brothers, spouses, even sons. And as such, all their social entitlements, all their rights, all their capabilities in life, all their opportunities are actually determined by these relationships. So this construct of citizenship, the way we see who is a citizen is actually permeates all aspects of life, and we will find the implications, the repercussions in education, in health, certainly in employment, and most definitely in political participation. As a coalition, we chose to work on reforming nationality laws in this region. In most countries of the region, nationality laws are very clear. They basically say that women can transmit men citizens can transmit their nationalities to their families, being spouses and children, and women cannot. Nationality laws are the most discriminatory in the letter of the law and in their implementation. They are incredibly straightforward and do not shy away from being discriminatory. Other laws, they try to sugarcoat discrimination. Nationality laws, for some reason or the other, are actually very straightforward in saying women do not have the right to transmit their nationalities. As such, most of our countries have expressed reservations on Article 9, Paragraph 2 of the Convention, being the right of women to transmit nationality. Now, why is this important, you might ask? This reservation and the ways in which our nationality laws are written are actually an official statement by the government saying women are not citizens. It's an official declaration. Never mind what the constitutions say. And you may or may not know that in the region, most of our post-independence constitutions are beautiful. They're wonderful. They're incredibly romantic. They come with this post-independence spirit where everything was possible. Nevertheless, never mind what the Constitution says, it's just a piece of paper. The citizen is a male citizen. Why also is this important? It's important because the denial of this right has implication on all other rights, on social and economic rights, on political rights, and actually on the livelihoods of people, on their mobility, on social exclusions, you name it. With this realization, the strategies that we adopted was first to work collaboratively as a regional coalition on reforming. Our target was and is still the reform of the nationality laws, the egalitarian reform of the nationality laws, and the immediate implementation of this reform. When we began, actually, as activists, we were incredibly happy with, and we were incredibly motivated, and we were incredibly sure of ourselves that simply by saying, we want to reform the law, everybody will understand what we mean. It wasn't the case. And the media, basically, I think we have to thank the media for stirring us into the direction of the need to do research and the need to do qualitative research, the need to go and fact-find not just the numbers, as our colleague Cindy has said this morning. Getting credible numbers in our region is virtually impossible. So what we wanted to see was how were women actually experiencing the denial of the nationality right? How are their lives affected by the denial of this right? The other aspects that we researched were the legal framework. In which way are we actually violating everything that we said we would do, the international instruments that we had signed? In which way are we contradicting our own constitutions? How were nationality laws in our countries constructed by whom, within which geopolitical context, etc.? And armed with this, we moved into media mobilization, which I think is one of the most important success stories of the nationality campaign. Armed with knowledge and armed with information, but also armed with the fact that we were working and still are as a coalition. This is when the media was quite helpful, quite interested. But actually what had happened meanwhile is through identifying women who had this problem, who were suffering from denial of nationality, through doing capacity building with them, through doing leadership training with them, through doing a lot of accompaniment, many women actually began to speak out. And just to explain what I mean by that, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to find any woman to give a testimonial about what was happening to her. Why? Because she would go on the next day to General Security to renew the residency permits for her husband or her children, and she would be denied that because there would be repercussions. Because maybe she wouldn't be in a legal situation because of the fact that she can't transmit her nationality to her family. Many of them were in situations which were irregular, illegal, didn't have papers, so nobody would speak up, which is a totally different story right now, because now actually one of the main achievements is actually women are ready to speak out, even if it costs them harassment. Actually, women are more and more asking to speak out to the media, both local and international. The other strategy was political campaigning. And this is a little bit controversial because on the one hand, you are saying that this is a failing state because it's failing its citizens. This is a state which is not taking responsibility for securing rights. This is a state which is directly responsible for excluding women, etc. But yet this is a state with whom you have to dialogue, with whom you have to bring these demands. And this is when we moved to the level of, as I said, political campaigning with essentially parliamentarians, with people in the executive, with high-level officials, etc. I want to open a parenthesis here about political campaigning because it's a very frustrating process on the one hand because most of them lie to you, but at the same time it's quite empowering because it does break a barrier. It does tell you that, it does allow you to come to these people and actually interface with them by telling them you're not doing what you're supposed to do and we're right behind you, and this, as citizens, we're actually going to keep harassing you until you reform these laws.